listening to the Bloody Bits Horror Show with your host, Eddie the Axe.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bloody Bits Horror Show. I am your host with the most, who's stalling because his soundboard is stalling as well, Eddie the Axe Jefferson, and joining me as always is the little boy to my fat man, Tim Yobo.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey, Tim, and we are not alone in our journeys in January, the beginning of the new year.
We always have somebody with us, right?
Almost always. But this time we have a first-time guest. And that is, well, I mean, Grindbin listeners should know him, and if they don't, let's get him initiated here. We have Sir Charles from the chat, but Charles, you like to go by Charlie, don't you?
I do, yeah.
So you should change it to Sir Charlie then, just to get rid of the confusion.
Yeah, but Charles is, it's much more official.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you hear Charles, you think that's a guy who's in charge.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, on the other hand, you don't get too many Sir Timmys or Sir Jimmys or Sir Johnnies, so...
Yeah. You could get a Sir Edwin, which is my proper name, but...
You would definitely get a Sir Edward.
Yeah, I'm not an Edward, though.
No.
That's the thing. Everybody mistakes it, because that's the more common name.
I would say that's about 90% more common, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, we are beginning the month of J-nuary, and we are going to be doing a whole month of Japanese horror. And this one initially, you brought in as a body horror, which is true. So I'm going to say this is kind of the perfect, moving of the crossfader. Yes, exactly. The perfect segue from body horror into Japanese horror. And Charlie, what's the movie you brought us for this week?
This week, we're going to be doing 1988's Akira. Every time I say that, I always think I'm talking about a car. So if I mispronounce it, please, by all means, step right in.
All right, let's all give ourselves a pass for mispronouncing names.
Yeah.
Right out the bat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good with that. But
1988, Akira is how I've always heard it. Akira, Integra. Yep. So, why this film?
Well, this is one that I'm going to be very honest with you. I have never seen this movie prior to watching it for this podcast. It's always been on my list of movies to watch because it's just, it's a staple of Japanese cinema. And we talked about body horror, and I did a little research, and I felt that this would have been a fantastic choice for body horror. But heading into J-nuary, I think it's definitely a very good choice.
Yeah, I think it's excellent because it strikes both of the notes. Tim, what's your history with this movie?
I will say pretty much probably the same as everybody else here. I never saw it before this. I saw always bits and pieces of it. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I know all, the cultural references that have gone back to this movie, but I never got around to seeing because I was really never much into animation.
Interesting. So, I actually saw this one probably back in maybe 2004 or 2005. It's an interesting movie, and the history of it is very interesting as well, and we'll definitely get into that. But before we do, Tim.
Yes.
How much do you like fucking?
Probably as much as anybody else does, which means a lot.
Yeah.
Especially now with being locked up in the house all the time.
Oh, God, if you're locked up in the house all the time, what else do you have to do besides getting that dick of yours all hard and fucking a vagina or an ass or a mouth?
Yeah, one of those three. Can't be too picky. Corona.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do, and what you should do is chew the chew. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, One of the podcasts from the Biniverse has been sponsored by a legitimate dick pill.
And it could not have been a better one than Blue Chew, because I think if the company doesn't believe us, they can go and listen to a bunch of Grind Bin episodes and Mustachio Podcastio, and we have been referring to Blue Chew forever.
Charlie, you like getting your dick hard and fucking, don't you?
More than anything you'll ever know, sir.
Yeah, well, do you know what Blue Chew is, everybody? Have y'all heard of it?
Heard of it? I'm their best customer.
Well, for those of you who haven't heard of it, Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, right? It's made right here in the United States of America, so you're not getting some... Yeah, help the economy, support local businesses, and you're not getting some weird shit flown in from, like, Uganda that's made from, like, porcupine quills and it might give you a headache
tough
or
to
something.
Swallow.
Oh God! And it's not like that crazy shit. We out here in the West Coast, Tim, we call it a gas station. Out there for you, it's a bodega, where they have these the weird dick pills like Rhino
bodega
Hard.
is something very different than a gas station, but I know what you mean. Yes. So in New York, we got two places we can buy them. We can buy them in either gas stations or you can buy them in the bodega. Not recommended.
Have you ever seen any of them in a bodega? Did they have a fun name for the fake ones?
I know I've seen them, but I don't think I wanted to spend too much time looking at them in the bodega. So it's like one of those things, you see them quick and you can just tell right away what they are, because they usually have like a rhino or a gorilla on them.
Yeah. Charlie, you're up in Sacramento where everybody's a degenerate like us. Yeah, have you ever seen that kind of shit?
Always. And most of the time, it's not even in English.
Oh, God. Yeah, well, these are because they're from the United States of America, and it's prescribed to you online by a licensed physician. So you don't even have to go to a doctor or wait in a line. Plus, it's even...
I was going to say, licensed where, you say?
In the United States of America.
Oh. Where do I send my money?
Oh, God. I'll tell you. But if you're worried about money like we all are, I mean, I know they just passed a thing where we're all getting a $600 check.
I know what I'm spending my $600 on.
Yeah, you're getting your dick hard.
It's a stimulus.
Yeah, the stimulus to your fucking dick. Hell yeah. You'll love it, too, because it's even cheaper than a pharmacy. And they prepare and they ship it right to you.
Because you're cutting out the middleman.
Yeah, you're cutting out the middleman. You're getting your dick on hard at warehouse prices.
And you don't need a middleman to do it.
It's like the Costco of boners. Yeah.
Wait, do I have to get a membership card for that?
No, you don't have to get a membership card.
So then it's better than Costco.
In fact, the only thing they send you is a discreet package, so you don't have to worry about a fucking crackhead stealing your dick pills.
A discreet package for my discreet package?
A discreet package for your very non-discreet package, because your fucking cock's going to be shooting out a good 6.5 hot, juicy inches by the time you're done with this. If anybody's ever seen
Crank Part 1, you'll understand what it'll be like.
Crank Part 1, by the way, that's going to be our next bonus episode coming out.
Speaking of
bonuses. So you go to patreon.com/bloodybits and find out. But no, you know how awkward it was when he was trying to fuck the chick in Chinatown?
He couldn't get it up?
Yeah. Well, there's no awkwardness with this. You don't even need to leave your house to get your dick hard and fuck some broad in front of Chinese people. You just get on a Zoom meeting that you hacked into.
And not only that, but it was Amy Smart and the guy was Jason Statham. And if Jason Statham has problems performing sometimes, who cares?
Look, we could all benefit from having some more confidence where it counts. And you know what the best part about Blue Chew is? It's that you can take them anytime, day or night.
I think that's an advantage, isn't it? Who wants to plan their heart on 8 hours ahead of time?
You know how all the other dick pills you can't take anytime? You have to wait until the moon is up. You could take these with your afternoon tea.
Morning coffee.
It went from 6 to midnight.
Yeah, and you know what's even better? Tim, you're going to like this. You could even take they're chewables also. I forgot to say that. It's like a candy that gets your cock hard. But Tim, you're going to love this.
So it's like hard candy?
Yeah, it's a double hard candy. Tim, you're going to love this part. You could even take it on a full stomach.
Wow.
So you know how it's really comfortable to go out and like go hit up a buffet and just get as full as you can.
Well, back in the old day, now you can't do the buffet. So now you're just sitting home eating fucking
Yeah.
Domino's pizza, have one after another.
Oh yeah, you pound down like 2 Domino's pizzas and the crazy bread, and your stomach's super full. You could still take one of these thick pills.
You got your own crazy bread right there.
You could fuck with the full stomach because that's comfortable.
You can pound down the pizza and then pound down the pussy.
Yeah, and
That's those times where
chewables.
you're like, all right, honey, you get on top.
Chewables also can work faster. I'm not saying they do, but they could. Also, don't do anything illegal with your dick pill. It says that here. But you know what? If you really want to go out and get one of these dick pills, hold on. You get your first shipment of them for free. Holy shit. You get free dick pills.
Hey, who doesn't want a free hard-on?
Tim, what's the last thing you got for free?
Jesus Christ. Probably looked at dirty.
Yeah? Well, you're not going to get looked at dirty right now with a hard dick. All you got to do is go to
Now I'm going to be getting those nice looks.
All you got to do is go to bluechew.com. That's BLUE, not like
the
blue
color.
cheese. Yeah, blue like the color. BLUE chew.com, and then enter the promo code BITS. That's BITS. And you get your first shipment of dick pills for free. You just gotta
aren't they
pay
on
them.
us?
Yeah, they're on me, dude.
There you go.
So the next time you fuck your man or your woman or whatever,
Think
or you're
of us.
non-binary, make them call you Eddie. For real. It's just $5 for shipping, and you get a. Here's what you should do, honestly.
If you can
'cause
read, you can call him Yobo.
That you could, yeah. But here's what you should do, because I went to their website and they have like 20, 30, and like 90 pill packs. So just sign up for the like 90 pill pack, and then you still use the promo code. You get fucking 90 of them. That's 90 boners, and then it's still $5 for shipping. And then just cancel
$5 for
or
shipping is
whatever.
not bad at all. I just ordered something
Yeah.
that cost me fucking $22 for shipping.
Yeah, this is
And I didn't even get a
$5
hard on.
for
I got
real.
a paper cut when I opened it up.
Oh, God, that's the opposite of a hard-on. So, yeah, BlueChew.com, promo code BITS, B-I-T-S. All right, guys. Woo. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
I'll say.
I would
It'll
say
only
if
get
you are
better with it
listening,
every week.
I would say if you're listening to the show, you probably don't want to skip the promos because they're a lot of fun. So now we're going to talk about Akira.
I could keep talking about dick pills for a while, though. I mean,
You know what? Maybe it'll come up again later.
oh, it will come up again.
Let's hope.
Oh, yeah.
If you just chew on one of those, it'll come up later on.
So for the context of the movie Akira, it came out in 1988.
Mm-hmm.
So mid to late 80s was when it was produced. And in kind of the context of the time, that this was the first time since World War II that Japan had not only like industrialized, but their economy was booming, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was just as there was like a technological revolution that was hitting, and it was kind of a perfect timing for anime in general. Now, not only because everybody was awash with all of this kind of windfall of money, but because a lot of the kids who grew up with anime from the early 70s were now, inspired by it and had taken form in the industry to try to create some.
Well, yeah, I think
But
for people in America, I don't think we realize how big anime is in
Yeah.
Asian
Oh, yeah.
culture.
yeah,
Because my wife told me when she was growing, they had anime books that were like libraries where you could just check out a comic book, bring it back, and then get another one. I'm like, for comic books? But it's gigantic over there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's an art form all in its own that they love.
Yeah. And I mean, we're looking at like just 5 years before Akira came out, only 49 anime movies came out. The year Akira came out in 1988, it was like 400. It was ridiculous, right?
And those 49 were probably all like Disney and shit like that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, they were proper Japanese animation, right?
And this film was actually, at the time, it was the highest budget for an anime film at about 700 million yen. And then the following year, believe it or not, was Kiki's Delivery Service at 800 million yen.
Perfect sense.
Yep.
Yeah. And what was really cool also is not only, so you've got this kind of three forces that are hitting at once. Number one, you've got the art form kind of taking hold, a generation that was inspired by it, was now in the industry hitting its stride. Number two, they're awash with all of this capital, all this money to go out and make this thing. And number three, we didn't have like rules about what an anime had to be yet. It was still kind of this new blooming art form, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here is where Akira hits, right in the middle of it. And it's such an interesting thing because then, like I said, this I saw this years and years and years ago. It's the very first, I would say, Japanese animation that came over to America and just fucking nailed it.
Oh yeah, because I was aware of Akira before I even knew that it was a Japanese animation.
Yeah.
It was just like hearing the name and hearing people talk about it, and it just kept picking up more and more over the years.
And the poster's iconic.
Yeah. And it's just, like I said, it's just one of those things that even if you haven't seen it, you have seen bits and pieces of this movie being used over and over again in plenty of big-ass fucking movies and TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And I mean, it informed so much of like cyberpunk culture and just culture in general going forward.
Yeah, we have a theater here in Sacramento downtown. It's called The Crest. And for about the last 25 years, all they do is they don't play first-run movies. They play old movies in the theater all the time. It was the midnight movie theater for a long time, but every year they play Akira. Every year, and it's one of those things where you see it on the marquee and you go, oh, I should go to that. You know, because you see the name and you know, hey, this is an experience.
Well, this would be something you definitely, I think, if you have a chance, you'd want to see on a big screen. Because it's just seeing it in a movie theater with surround sound and all that other shit must be incredible.
Let me tell you, Tim.
Absolutely.
I envy you because I missed when they played the original Dawn of the Dead in that theater. I missed it by like a month, and I just... You having seen that film in the theater, I mean, that's an experience. I think the closest I would have is seeing Pink Flamingos in the theater, like I did.
Wow. Okay, that's
wow.
a get.
Oh, hey, let me tell you, when you're in a packed theater and you watch, Divine give a blowjob with all these other people who are just as equally uncomfortable as you are, that's an experience as well.
Plus, how old were you?
Let's see, carry the one. 8? No, I was I was 27, 28 years old. Not too long ago.
Okay, so it wasn't too bad. Because you see, when I hear Pink Flamingos in the movie theaters, I'm thinking like back with my old man eyes. Trademark Tim. That you saw when it like originally came out. Because that's like what, 70? Or you're not that old, Charlie. So
I'm not that old. No.
Yeah, you wouldn't have seen it in the original theater. But
yeah, no, but I just when you see it, yeah. And this is one of those films that I wish I could see, but COVID, sank that theater, unfortunately. Maybe next year. Maybe. I'm knocking on wood.
Well, maybe when the movie theaters come back, they'll have to put stuff in that they know is proven to get people to want to come back.
Exactly.
I could definitely see that happening. The other thing I think would be interesting is virtual reality is getting better and better. And have you ever gone into a VR movie theater and watched a movie in VR?
I have not. That actually sounds amazing.
Where the hell are those?
you just get a VR headset, and then you can download like I think Hulu even has one, where the experience is you're sitting in a movie theater, and because you've got the VR helmet on, it can make the screen whatever fucking size you want the screen to be.
So wait a second, I'm going into a
sound.
movie theater, and then they give me a VR set. I'm sitting down in a movie seat.
No, Tim,
Oh,
you're
at
in your
home.
house.
Okay. And
There's
it just
a VR
looks like I'm
theater.
in a movie theater.
Yeah, you look down and you see a hand rest.
So wait, can you program it to like you got a couple in front of you making out, you got the guy next to you drinking from his coat pocket, couple in the back smoking joints?
I'm sure you could.
That would be amazing. You'd be sitting there.
Somebody better get on that fucking DLC quick.
I think it'd be great to do that with group like experiences of watching movies, so we could all go into it. You know, like we do.
So
on
like
the
if I turn
blood
around and I
streams.
look to my right, I can see Charlie. I look over to my left, I can see you.
Yeah.
That would be. I don't. Are we there yet with that?
I mean,
No, we're not there
Not
yet,
there.
but we're getting there. We're getting there.
One day,
And you know what
Tim-
else? You know what else we should get?
Get to know your Yobo.
I was
we should
not
all get to
expecting
know
that.
your Yobo.
You
What?
keep dropping in at different times. I keep forgetting about it. God damn it.
Yeah, that's the idea. This is the segment, ladies and gentlemen, where we allow our guest to ask our co-host with the co-most, Tim Yobo, just a question about, his life or his love or whatever his passions are, where he comes from, where he sees himself in the future. It could be literally anything. So, Charlie.
Tim, you are a man of mystery.
He is.
I mean, I had a question for you. I wanted to know if you got your Xbox yet, but that's not my get to know Yobo question.
Hell yeah.
I am counting that as your question, you son of a bitch.
You've answered it 4 times for me already today, and countless times for others.
Every hour on the hour, you keep sending me that goddamn message.
I'm trying here. You're getting me through my day. What can I say here? But Tim, what do I want to know about Tim? We've learned a lot about you over the last couple episodes and in general.
So maybe we don't have to do the spit anymore.
No, we definitely have to. Okay, let's see here. Tim, what is the greatest thing that's ever happened to you in your current job as a doorman?
Oh, probably getting like a $1,500 tip.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. Dude,
How big was his
Wow.
cock?
Whoa.
you don't know. People who work in buildings clean the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
I have friends who work in like the maintenance department. They don't fucking pay for anything. They get fucking free TVs, furniture, shit like that. They're just called up to an apartment like, oh, I'm getting a new TV. Get rid of this one. They don't tell you what to do when you get rid of it. It's in the
Yeah.
garbage. Now it's anybody's.
Yeah.
So, Tim, the person that gave you the $1,500 tip, if they needed to move a package out of their apartment,
And it was
and
dripping.
they didn't want any fucking questions asked,
Done.
you're cool?
Of course.
Oh, hell yeah,
Part
Tim.
of being
All
a
right.
doorman or working in a big building like that is you have to be able to keep your mouth shut. I lost a great fucking doorman gig at a building because my friend set me up for an interview. And when I went into the interview, I did the interview part very well. And then afterwards, the guy like relaxed and like, all right, this is, the interview's over, like stuff like that. And then he started talking to me about my friend. And we're just talking. I'm thinking, we're just having regular bullshit back and forth. And he says to me, he's like, Spio told me what's going on with his brother. It's really crazy. At that time, my friend had something going on with his brother. And all I did was I just said, oh, yeah, I know it is. And as soon as I said that, I went, I just lost his fucking job.
Ah, shit.
I should, all I had to do is, I don't know what you're talking about. And that would have been it. I would have been working at that building.
God damn.
That's how they get you.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. No, that's true though,
Man.
Tim. I worked in the service industry as a valet, and yeah, people will fucking tip you, and you will clean up like crazy. In Vegas, people valet professionally, and they'll do it part time and still clear like 85,000.
Oh yeah, 'cause the other thing
damn.
you got to remember is some jobs you control people's lives, and you have people's
yeah.
secrets in your hands. That fucking guy who worked at Trump Tower, who was getting all that money to shut up about the illegitimate baby that Donald Trump might have had allegedly. That's a fucking doorman. Look how much money that guy made.
Whew.
Yep.
All right. Well,
They know
good
everything.
show, Tim.
But I still can't spend it on a fucking Xbox.
Well, you spent it on the Xbox. You just don't have it yet.
Yeah, well, they charged my credit card for it, but I still don't have it yet.
Yeah.
I won't name who it is, but they did so well on selling it on the internet. They put something on it so it made sure that no scalpers or bots could buy it, but come on. A little bit of snow is slowing it up 4 days.
Oh yeah.
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 Come on.
First world problems.
It's okay, Tim. Tomorrow. It'll be there tomorrow. Well, when we say tomorrow,
The
it'll have
Xbox
been
will
2
come
weeks
out
ago.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. So we open on Neo Tokyo after World War III. And you kind of hear some reports. Drug use is bad. The economy is bad. And we see it, too. People are beating the fuck out of each other. Some broads getting raped in the back of a bar. And we meet our gang, our buddies. No, it's not Death Force. It's the Capsules.
And is the back on the jacket, is it red pill and blue pill?
Yeah, it's a red and blue pill. So like
Okay.
Dr. Mario kind of. I guess that Neo should have taken that one. What would happen? Would he end up being Joey Pants?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. That's from the Matrix.
Yeah. So what's going on here is we are in a post-World War III where some event took place that appeared to be like an atomic bomb going off in Tokyo that caused World War III. Now things are in a horrible disarray. So we've kind of got like all these different gangs fighting with each other. We've got the Capsules, we've got the Clowns. And the Capsules, well, they ride out with our heroes, of course. We have Tetsuo, who's the protagonist / antagonist of the film.
He is the leader.
And in Canada.
That's the other name that
Canada.
kept. That's the other name that kept tripping me up too during this movie.
Yeah.
Tietsu?
Yeah, and Canada, they roll out to go and get into a big fight with the Clowns. Which, Tim, did you guys have to fight the Clowns when you were with Death Force?
No, I told you the gang that we had to deal with. Well, we didn't have to deal with it because the fight that I set up was canceled.
Yeah,
Was the Scorpions.
Scorpions. Okay, that was your rival gang. That's right. So they
You
get
don't
into a
fuck with
big
no clowns.
fun motorcycle fight, but I think more importantly, what I want to point out here is the animation style that is used.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like any other, like what you think of as modern anime. It does not look like that. This is all very hand drawn,
Yes.
and very deliberate. There's none of the computers because, of course, in the time you couldn't do it, but also it's very, very costly to get any kind of animation like this done now.
Mm-hmm. And every frame is absolutely beautiful. The level of detail. I had to go back and watch this movie a couple times. I watched it originally with the the Japanese dub, just because I wanted the overall feel and I wanted the subtitles. And then I went back and watched it with the English dub because I had to look at everything going on in the background.
Oh, yeah, that was the thing. I was having a tough time writing the notes for this because of the subtitles. Because it was like, if I'm watching an American movie, I can write a note down and I can still hear what's being said. But this one, I had to keep stopping it, writing down notes, going back, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess kind of also, like, because of that is why I'm going to kind of breeze over the storyline of it a little bit. Because the story is interesting, and there's a lot going on to it, but I think you can kind of hit it with a lot of kind of larger, broader, sweeping notes. So we get this bike chase and this big fight going on, and Tetsuo, he rolls up behind this one clown guy with this red cross on his mask, and he fucking just brains this dude, just whacks him like wicked hard into the dome piece, and it's pretty fucking graphic and brutal, and you're like, okay, yeah, we've had some chick almost get raped, you got drug use, this guy just got his fucking brains bashed in, like,
Yeah, this isn't Disney.
No, and for the time, like, for I mean, I'd seen, like, some of the Spike and Mike Twisted Film Festival stuff before, but, like, you didn't see this kind of crazy, over-the-top, like, violence in adult themes in cartoons back in the day.
No, hell no.
No. So they're coming out swinging. And as this is going on, we see some another gang, not the Capsules, and they're escorting a little green man. And the dude that's escorting gets the fucking shit just shot out of him. He's bleeding. And the green man screams, this little tiny green dude. And as he screams, these buildings start collapsing around him.
I think we should state here, 'cause one thing that we passed over is it's post World War III Japan, where they've rebuilt everything. It's a time of massive civil unrest. And it's 2019, which is funny because all they had to do was wait one extra year, and we would have had massive civil unrest like we've seen this last year. Maybe Hong Kong had it all last year, so it could have been somewhere in the middle. But everything is just, there's a police force and a military, but they're almost non-existent because they're all in constant battles every day.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a good point. Like, when I say cyberpunk fantasy, like, this is dystopian. This is like, if there is a surface on the ground, it's wet. If there is a surface that's a wall, it's graffitied. If there's a street light, it's broken. Like, everything is in disarray, looted, pillaged, and plundered. It is fucking bedlam.
Oh yeah, and the amount of graffiti in this movie that says "fuck you" in English.
Yeah.
It's incredible with how many times it's popping up all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Watching...
So...
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
I was going to say, watching this reminds me of a lot of Japanese films, like neo-noir films from the late 60s, early 70s, where everything is just very bitter for the neo-noir and like the crime films. There's a lot of Yakuza films where they talk about literally like the day after Japan surrendered in World War II, how everybody is just in a refugee camp and the crime element is starting. Japan is just, it's thrashed everywhere. The US is there, they are the bad guys because they're the ones raping and pillaging. And you see all of this happening there, and you see, you can see all this crime element, just how it's overrun, and the people who are thought of as being the good people, the normal everyday citizens, are forced to just live with this around them.
Yeah, it's so this story of Akira, there's so many allegories that are going on here, not just allegories for things that have happened in the past, but for what is currently happening and fears for what is to come in the future because of it. Like, it's funny how big-brained this shit. Like, if you think, like, what in America have we come up with that's like, let's take a look at our actual past, our actual history, look at how fucked we were, how fucked it became, how fucked we are, and how fucked we're going to be. Oh, and let's put it in a cartoon.
Yeah, you don't get too much. I guess maybe the closest you get to that is Watchmen. But that's not even an American guy. That's Alan Moore, who's from England.
Yeah, spoiler alert to what my recommendation is going to be at the end of this. So anyhow, we get the big fight with them. The green kid is drug out. His buddy gets killed, and the buddy, you find out, is a rival kind of gang, another gang that was trying to rescue him. And Tetsuo, he brains the clown, sees the little green dude, and he tries to like dump his bike to avoid hitting him. Because he's like, oh, there's like a kid, but his face is green or whatever. I don't want to fucking run this guy over. He's innocent, Well,
does he do that, or is it like kind of like there's almost like a force field that stops him from hitting him?
I think it was a force field that stopped him, but he saw...
there is a force field, but when he sees him, there's a hesitance. Like, I'm going to try to turn away from this shit if I can.
But he's not able to. But he's
right.
Gets stopped because of the force field. But he had the intention of not hitting him.
And it's funny how we all have almost a different idea of it. Because when I first saw it, and even the second time I saw it, I thought it was more of a, oh shit, I don't want to get hurt. I'm going to dump it, and whatever happens happens, kind of thing. Because he just finished kicking a bunch of people's asses.
Yep. So he just slams into this green kid, and like you said, a force field kind of stops the explosion around the green skin kid, and you just see a massive explosion. And all of a sudden, the little green-skinned dude, he's fine. He just kind of walks away. As then Canada and the gang they walk up to see what's going on, and they see their buddy Tetsuo is laid out, not looking too great. Green-skinned kid, because it looks like a child with all wrinkly and old though with the face, just kind of.
Yeah, I have him written down as Ugly Kid Joe.
Yeah. We just hate everything about you. And then his buddy shows up, which is another green-skinned kid in a little hover pod like Dr. Robotnik.
No, I have floating baby Louis Anderson.
Yes.
Oh, God, yes.
And he's got that double-breasted suit on. When I first saw this, I thought he was in charge. I was like, hey, wait a minute, what's this?
Yeah, he looked like he might be like Master Blaster.
Or for your old school Howard Stern fans, Eric the Midget.
Yeah, I could see that.
Can we?
If I was casting it live action.
Can we say that word? Is it okay?
Eric the actor.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Rest in peace, little buddy.
God.
He was a good dude. He was from Sacramento, too.
Was he really?
Yeah, if there's a cemetery.
There isn't a street named after him in Sacramento?
I don't know. But
there's a lot of dead-end streets.
Maybe just a little road?
Maybe a little one.
There's in the cemetery that he was buried in. There's a little bench that's dedicated to him.
Do you know what cemetery?
No idea.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, you can go leave him a Coke. So, yeah, then the two green-skinned kids kind of leave, and just then the military comes in and they scoop up Tetsuo. And when I say the military, I mean the military.
Yeah, full
big
force,
ass
helicopters, everything.
Yep, paramilitary helicopters swoop in, and our big jarhead Rex Manley dude storms out of there. And that's Taro was the name that I had for him. And this dude seems like he's in fucking charge.
Oh, the lieutenant?
Yeah.
He's running the show.
Yep. So they bring the gang over to interrogate them, kind of talk to them all one by one. And this is where we get the kind of the impression about the cultists that are going on. Because while they're interrogating the gang, some dude with a grenade pops out while they're waiting on the bench. And he's like, I'm going to blow this fucking place sky high. But then it's a dud. It's like, shit. I've been there, you know? Like, you think you got the world kind of by the balls, but nah, it just kind of fuck up.
It's not happening for you.
Nope.
It's fucked up because his friends gave him that grenade just as a test to see if he would have the balls to do it, and he just picked the wrong place to try it out.
And actually, what I love about this scene, just to go into the level of detail in this scene, after the grenade is found to be a dud, and you see him get the shit punched out of him, and he's on the ground, and they're dragging him away. They pull back the camera, and you see all these little like temporary offices and cells made up out of like what you would expect to see at an emergency encampment.
Yeah,
and you see
like somebody took over a rec center or some shit.
And you see a bunch of people getting the shit knocked out of them behind these little paper walls. And, there's people getting punched and interrogated and talked to and cry.
And that's when funny. Michael Corleone decided not to invest in Cuba.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's awesome and funny, the level of detail.
Yeah, no, I noticed that too. When it pulls back and scans, you see, I think it's that guy who they're beating the shit out of, isn't it?
I think there's a couple people getting the shit kicked out of them in that room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some heavy intimidation and advanced interrogation tactics going on. So as this goes down, though, the capsule gang, they take this opportunity to beat a discreet retreat. And they get the fuck out of here, which, I mean, come on. You couldn't have planned it better. And this is when Tetsuo gets scanned, and they discover Tetsuo has powers. So they contact somebody who's in a meeting about how there might be this mole in the council. It's I'm going to try to say the name, okay?
Okay.
Shikishima.
That sounds good to me.
Close enough. All right.
If we have any Japanese listeners, tell them how close he nailed it or how far he was off.
I will.
remember,
I'll ask my girlfriend. She's not Japanese, but she lived in Japan for 10 years.
Good, and tell her to go to bluechew.com/bloody or /bluechew.com and use the promo code BITS. to get a hard
It's a
bit.
Christmas gift that gives to everybody.
Oh,
It's not
Christmas
just-
came early.
Yeah.
Just think about it. You can tell your wife that you bought an Xbox Series X for yourself, and for the both of you, you got some Blue Chews.
Hey, you're gonna stuff her stocking.
It's definitely a stuffer.
So yeah, they get the fuck out of here. We find out Tetsuo is magical, and Shikishima comes to the hospital where he gets told about Tetsuo's psychic powers that are like Akira's. And we don't know who Akira is at this point. The titular Akira, but Tetsuo's powers are the inverse of Akira's. So he's a little bit country, Akira's a little bit rock and roll.
Oh, damn.
You know what I mean? A little chocolate to the peanut butter, maybe.
All right. I'll take that.
The yin and the yang, maybe.
You gotta have the light, you gotta have the dark.
And we find out that Akira was another one of these little green skin people, quote unquote. Not really, though. They call them esters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he caused the nuke to go off in Tokyo 31 years ago. It wasn't really a nuke, it was him reaching his potential power too quickly and not being able to handle it.
Control it. So we kind of getting like a little bit of X-Men style thing going on.
Yes. So we've got superpowers, mutant powers, and the allegory of the atomic bomb going off and being
Which
misused.
in Japan in 1980, was it 1988 this came out, you said?
Yes.
That's still got to sting. That's still got to be something that's like, like even in today, if you see a movie that shows you the World Trade Center going down, it's how long since 2001, but
Yeah.
seeing that in Japan's got to be even fucking bigger.
Actually, what's interesting too is at this point in Japan in the 1980s, this was a very common theme that you would see in a lot of their films, where it was centered on, World War II, the nuke, and how basically the country. In fact, they talk about it later in this movie. The country had gone through a massive rebuilding, where it was like everything was just building, and now there's almost this.
Yeah.
Well, now there's almost this bitterness towards it. 30, 40 years down the road, there's a bitterness towards that, kind of like, is this it? That's all there is. And it's kind of a reoccurring theme you see in the 1980s in Japanese cinema.
Well, I would think if your whole thing for 20 or 30 years, which is basically a generation, is have to rebuild your country, then once you've rebuilt it, then what?
Exactly. What's next?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well, and that's one of so that's some of the themes that this deals with. Absolutely is the nukes obviously going off in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Then you've also kind of got like you said, we have rebuilt, but now there's a real concern about what's happening to humanity and culture in general, because they've become so flush with power and with technology, right? That you fear that you might lose who you are as a culture. And I think that's a larger kind of theme to Akira.
And isn't it also true with Japan? I mean, that's why they basically locked themselves off from the Western world for as long as they possibly could?
Exactly, yeah. Yep. And that's, I think, what the military in here still represents is the Western world that the public and the people are fighting against. And yet we've got this third kind of sect. So you've got the public, who's a lot of these kids in these gangs who are just trying to figure it out, right? They're trying to make do with the world that they're in. You've got the paramilitary people who are exploiting just the fabric of nature, with the whole Akira being the atomic bomb. And then you've got the cultists, we'll get to a little later.
Yes.
That are the kind of, I think, the third factor to worry about. So anyhow, this secret government lab was run by a dissident terrorist group, and they ran what was called Project Akira. And the idea was that they would get these children who had this similar psychic energy patterning, and they were trying to harness their powers, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where the Akira issue happened, is that the power grew too quickly and he went off like a nuke. So we're talking now to these espers that we find out there are 3 of them. I don't have their names handy. They're the 3 green wrinkled children.
And Louie?
Yeah. So you've got one of them that's like precognitive, one of them that is able to move things with his mind, and one of them that's able to control people.
Yes.
Right?
There's Kyoko, she's a little girl. Takashi, which I believe is the little
He's
boy.
Louis Anderson.
Yeah.
Right? Oh no, wait.
Yep.
Takashi is the one who blew all the windows out.
Okay.
Yeah, Takashi is the first one that almost got hit by the bike.
And then that would be that. I think it's Masaru. I think he's the Louis Anderson.
Masaru, yeah.
Little boy in the floating wheelchair.
Right. So they give a little precog thing saying, "Yo, this Tetsuo guy, he's going to be one of these nukes. We should probably fucking kill him." And government people who are trying to harness this shit and utilize it, like, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's see what happens. Let's just see.
But here's what's cool about it, because it could go either way. Right now they're telling him, look, he's going to be too powerful. You got to kill him right off the bat. And you got the government and the army and the industrial military complex is like, well, let's keep him around. Let's see what we can get out of him and what we can maybe turn into a weapon and then turn around and sell it. But then on the other hand, if the movie could easily be where, all right, that's it, he's too powerful, and the government and everybody's just out to kill him because he's too powerful. So it's a nice little double edge that they're playing there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good way to take it. But Tetsuo's got other plans, because he just fucking wakes up and he's like, yeah, I'm going to get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
This
nice
place
security,
sucks.
motherfuckers. What the hell?
Yeah. Well,
you got tanks, helicopters, but you don't have 2 security guards on this guy's door.
Yeah. It's almost like they were mishandling the atomic bomb. So he busts out, and he's like, well, I'm going to go home to Capsule's lair where I come from. I want to go see my homies. And we go back to the gang's house, and it's all burned out and shitty looking. Like, it had been bombed. The windows are gone. It's all fucked. And this is where we meet Tetsuo's lady. I'm going to try to say Kaori. Kaori.
I think it's like Kaori? Corey?
Kaori.
I think it's Kaori, yeah.
I think so.
Kaori. Very good. And Tetsuo proposes to Kaori, which that's fun. And now it's taken the renegade kind of plot line. This feels like a very Tim Yobo plot line. They propose, they fall in love, they steal Canada's bike and run off into the sunset.
Woohoo.
Credits roll.
Credits roll. And then we get Renegade Season 2.
With
Fuck
6
Lorenzo
killer.
Lamas. It's Tetsuo. But no, the problem is that Canada's bike might be a little bit too technical for Tetsuo. It's a little too high geared, so it...
Yeah, because in the beginning of the movie, we saw him being told that this is a specially built bike, and that it's only for Canada, and that he can't handle it. Which, let me ask you a question, Charlie. Why would you put those stickers on your bike? It's going to be one of my few tangents, but why would
He's
you
got
put...
endorsements.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's a sport bike style, especially from that time. I mean, how many you see modern sport bikes now on their fairings? They've got their sponsors, or they've got their logos.
Professional.
Yeah.
I understand that, but this is a guy driving around. He's a gang leader of the gang with this tricked out bike.
Yeah.
Why would he be putting fucking? I see he's got the BMW thing because obviously it's a BMW bike. But he's got all this other shit, Dunlap and all. Like, why would you be putting stickers all over your bike?
You're advertising, Tim. You want people to know.
That these are my tires, I have Dunlops, and here's a sticker to prove it?
And hey, look at what I have to steal. Come and get it.
See, this is why I respect Ducati so much. You get a Ducati, it doesn't have a lot of shit all over it.
What?
It's very sleek. It's very clean.
And actually, and what's interesting to me is it also has a Canon camera logo on it. But
Yeah, that was weird.
But one thing I do like, and I like on here, and there's an equivalent to it, in you see in like 1950s and 60s post-war American biker culture. There's an American World War II era insignia on it, which for us post World War II, you saw a lot of biker gangs with swastikas because it was a way to kind of like freak out normal people. You know, you watch like the Pink Angels, you know, and they got the swastikas dangling from their necks, you know, kind of thing.
Great movie, by the way.
It's a fantastic movie. But here, you know, post-war Japan, what better way to freak out the older generation than to ride around with this on it?
Ah, yeah. Sure. Nice catch.
Yeah.
Good point,
So,
Johnny. That's why I asked
yeah.
you.
So yeah, I guess the reason the bike stalls out is because you're not allowed to go under 5,000 RPMs even when you're shifting, which seems like a problem.
Wasn't there a movie on the grind bin where somebody couldn't go over 5,000 RPM? Otherwise, they crashed the bike right at the very end of winning a race?
That was a death race, was it?
No, it was the one with David Essex, the Rock On guy, right?
You got me.
Okay.
This just reminds me of when my buddy got a sports-tuned Mustang, and he didn't know how to drive it properly, so we kept stalling out. So that was pretty funny. He figured it out eventually.
Or you blow
Really,
the
really
engine.
nice. Yeah. Well, he stalls out. They're like, I don't know what the fuck we're going to do. At least nothing bad else is going to happen to us. Like, I don't know, the clowns showing up. And then, oh my God, the clowns show up.
Well, the clowns, when they show up, they don't just say, hey, here we are. They punch Kiori in the face, and then they hit Tetsuo in the back of the head with a pipe while they're at like full speed on their bikes.
They should have taken their head off with that punch on a motorcycle going 80 miles an hour, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Or you rip your own arm off.
Probably both. Yeah.
You wouldn't walk away from it either way.
No. You wouldn't drive away from it.
Yeah, you're not keeping your bike straight down the fucking line.
Yeah. So they get into a big, good, fun fight, and then Capsule, the rest of the gang, they show up, and then they keep having more of a fun fight. But Tetsuo has a little bit of a problem here. He starts getting a headache. Which, I mean, after that fucking hit to the dome, I mean, come on, that's to be expected. But he hears Akira in his head. And then we cut to, like, inside of his guts, and then they fall down.
And he's scrambling to shove them back in.
Yeah. Doesn't seem good. So right about now is a good time for the government people to come back and take Tetsuo back.
Yep, they take him, they throw him into an unmarked truck, but it's clearly the government because they're all wearing suits, and the military's with them.
Yeah, because they have some kind of machine. I guess that's like a radar thing that can detect.
They can track him.
Somebody with these abilities is going off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
they've kind of tagged all of these
on
psychics or whatever. Yeah. I mean, they can track him down. They tracked his ass down, and then for Daniel, there's a guy with a really cool mustache here that kidnaps Canada's girlfriend. Kaori? Something like that. No. Canada's girlfriend, not Tetsuo's.
One of the groupie girls, I think, is what they call them. The ones that were hanging out with them.
So now we get the background on the three psychic kids, the Espers, and they bring Tetsuo back to the lab. And they kind of strap his ass down. They're like, we're going to keep observing you. And then we get a fun hallucination sequence for poor Tetsuo.
And the first time I watched it, it was distinctly Japanese with everything that happened with all the imagery and the toys and everything. And it was just, it was fantastic. I had to watch it a couple different times just because it was so fascinating to watch.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's beautifully animated. Like you said, there's all these weird stitched together like bunnies and teddy bears, and it's not fun. It's not a lot of fun what's going on here. I wouldn't want to have this trip. Tim, you ever have a bad trip like this?
Thank God, no, I haven't.
That's good.
Always got to know your dealer.
And be in the right frame of mind.
Yes.
Yeah, don't eat the brown
Don't put yourself
acid.
in bad places and take the brown acid. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not good stuff.
Maybe it's good for Pink Floyd, not too good for a hardcore punk band.
It's good for laser beetles.
Laser Beatles. Laser Pink Floyd. Yeah, that's... I'll take that. Not a big Beatles fan. Thank you.
It's okay. You can...
Floyd's my favorite. I ain't got nothing against the Beatles.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Pink Floyd 8-track, it's great. They split the songs up just perfectly.
Oh, nice.
I'll never get to understand the enjoyment of an 8-track tape that stops a fucking song right in the middle and then picks up.
It's great. It fades out, and then you hear a really loud click, and then it fades back in again. So it doesn't disturb the music at all.
Just a click. So, like, if you're trying to listen to that while you're going to sleep, and you're nice and calm and comfortable, and you just got finished with a great big gig in the sky, and then all of a sudden, click!
You ever drive a manual car and you stick it into reverse, and the reverse gear goes dunk? That's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Says nope.
Yep. It's very relaxing.
Huh. Yeah, I don't have an 8-track. I've got a record player. I'm a big fan of that. I think something
Oh,
about
wait, hold on, Eddie. You just blew somebody's head off. You mean you have a turntable?
No, I have a record player, not a turntable.
Because I said that to somebody once. I asked him if they had a record player, and he just looks at me like I just shit in his mouth, and he goes, I have a turntable, if that's what you mean.
Ugh. Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, to that person, I have a record player.
And you have a lot of records that you play on it, too.
A fair amount, yeah. I think there's something to the ritual of intentionally setting the music up to listen to and taking your time away from whatever else it is that you're doing that makes you appreciate it more.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of the differences in quality, that's negligible. That's here or there. I think it's about the experience.
So you think the more steps that you have to do to get it, you enjoy it more. Instead of just looking at your phone and hitting shuffle.
I think there's something to be said about going out with your wife to a meal at a restaurant, even if it's not the best food you've ever had.
That's true, and then when you get home, you choose some Blue Chews.
Yeah, and then you fuck her brains out.
On a full stomach.
On a full stomach. That's the stupidest thing in that fucking ad. Why would you promote that you get as full as you can and then have sex? That's the worst. Yeah, anyhow. They're not listening anyway. So now the Resistance has decided to come in. Now the Resistance is kind of this third faction we were talking about, right?
Yes, they are. Their main job is to liberate these children and expose what's going on.
Yeah, and we find out also that this Resistance... Remember when we were talking about how there might have been a mole or a turncoat earlier in this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he has been slowly feeding the Resistance a little bit of information about Akira that they kind of have been using to idolize Akira.
Wait, is this guy Q?
Yeah. Oh my God! It's like if Q, but if they actually had a martyr who was worth feeling bad for.
Yeah, and it's like, because the thing that always gets me with Q, and I guess this guy's doing the same thing, is, dude, if you know what shit's going on, stop giving us fucking clues. Tell us what the fuck is going on.
There's no money in that. You gotta string them along.
Yeah, that's true. You don't give everybody everything all at once. You got to trickle it out so you can keep selling them ads and stuff.
Yeah, plus when you can trick somebody into coming to the conclusion that you're kind of force-feeding them, they feel like they're smart because they've come to that conclusion themselves. And it's harder to talk them out of that if they thought of it themselves instead of somebody told me this.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true, yeah. That's like, God, one of the guys that I worked with, he read that How to Win Friends and Influence People.
But 1950?
No,
yeah.
1930s.
And yeah, and he would talk about how like, oh, this is a really true and a really good thing, and all of the shit that he was talking about, like of how to, basically it's how to manipulate people was the idea. is like ask people for help with something that you already know the answer to. And then like they'll feel like, oh, you think that I'm smart and you need me, so clearly that means you like me and I'm a good person too.
I know somebody personally.
That's how Eddie got me to co-host this show.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's true.
I know somebody personally who swears by that book in not like a douchey way. He is a very successful business person, and he swears by that book like up and down.
Huh.
But I also do know that that was one of the books that Charles Manson mastered when he was in prison, like in the early 60s. He mastered everything in that book, and that's what he actually used
Now,
with the
that
family.
isn't an endorsement.
Exactly.
I mean, it worked for Charlie.
Hey, look, I just want people to show up on time and work hard for me. They don't have to go out and fucking kill a couple of families, so that book should be fucking golden.
Exactly. It worked for Charles Manson. It'll work for you.
Just want to get
Goddamn.
a bunch of bitches to go out and get me a fucking Xbox somewhere.
Yeah, you need how to win friends and influence Best Buy to get you your fucking Xbox on time. Jesus Christ.
Hey, did you get it yet?
And you know, I would really be singing their praises if they got me that Xbox super quick.
You know what? It's the snow. It has to be the snow, Tim.
It snowed on Thursday, okay? It wasn't that bad. By this time, the streets are cleared enough.
And you still don't have your Xbox.
Not yet. I'm hoping.
Well, best of luck to you on the Xbox, man.
I know, it's the worst problem in the world.
Yeah. I know, I mean, we all have our problems, but you needing to play on a new Xbox, that's up there. So yeah, the Resistance came in dressed up as electricians, and they're wanting to bust old Tetsuo out, and they run into old Canada after they've busted Tetsuo out, and Canada's like, I'm gonna get Tetsuo away from you guys instead, but Tetsuo, he's kind of got his own agenda now.
Oh, yeah.
He has become kind of a force of nature now.
Yeah, he doesn't need
away.
saving anymore.
Yeah. So what we'll find out is while he was in the hospital, they were giving him these drugs that were repressing his powers, right? And now that he's away, and the longer he's away from being in this hospital, his powers are going to continue growing.
Drugs are wearing off.
Yep, and he's getting drunk on that power.
Yeah, because he's starting to feel that power. And as he feels this power, he's like, look, I found out where Akira is. He is under the Olympic Stadium. And
Yeah, because the other big part in this movie, I think the Olympics are just coming up in Tokyo, like the next year, right?
Yep. In 2020, which they were actually going to be in Japan this year.
Yep.
Holy shit.
And it's funny too because the last time, and I think what they're pulling this reference from is 1964 Olympics, right? Which is after they had just rebuilt from the decimations of World War II and industrialized and kind of their culture was on the upswing, but still, still having some issues.
Mm-hmm.
They had held the Olympics in Tokyo. And when we see the Olympic Stadium, we see that it's in ruins, and under that Olympic Stadium is where Akira is. So that's where Tetsuo wants to go. He wants to go see Akira because he figures this is how I can get rid of these headaches that I'm having, this crazy pain that's in my head. So he flies away, and I'm like, damn, I know he could fly. That's a hell of a power to have. That's helpful.
They're just adding his powers as they go.
Mm-hmm. Pretty soon his power level's going to be over 9,000, and then what are we going to do? So now martial law has been declared by the military group, by our cool jarhead, Beef Mannington. And Tetsuo's still on his fucking warpath trying to get to the stadium. He's destroying everything in his path. And he returns back to the bar from the beginning of the movie. And this. Sorry, go ahead.
And I was saying, it's not good. It's not good what is going to happen.
No, no.
Well, at least it doesn't have as many people in it as it did in the first part of the movie.
Yeah, nobody's getting raped in the back.
That's
It's
true.
an off
yeah,
night. Slow. Must be a Tuesday.
could be. Yeah. So he shows up at the bar and he's just like, "Look, I need capsules. Right? Where's capsules? I need the fucking capsules." Bartender's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man? You need to get the fuck out of here." Like we.
Well, no, I don't know if it's dubbed that way in the English one, but in the Japanese one, he's going to give him capsules because he knows
right,
him,
right.
but he wants them for free, and he's like, no, they're
Right.
not. Nothing's free. Like you have to pay me for these, and so he kills him because he's not gonna.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to pay. No, I'm gonna kill you. So he
Yeah, I
kills
think
him
this
for
is
all
kind
the
of like the
kills.
bar from Clockwork Orange.
Mm-hmm.
You go there, you hang out, and you get your drugs there at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, they're regulars. I mean, that's their bar. That is their bar.
Yeah. No, okay. That must have been a mistranslation. So yeah, because then he does fucking just kill the bartender, and that's not good. Poor guy. Rest
So
in
imagine
peace.
having all that power and already going all reckless and shit, and now you're going to be fucking tripping doing drugs.
Well, I think he's wanting the drugs to sedate himself a little bit.
I think
right?
he-
He's
yeah.
got a headache. He has no idea what to do to try to like bring shit down.
Yeah, I thought he was getting them because he was in so much pain that's what he wanted. He wanted to get those pills, and then he was going to right himself, and everything was going to be fine.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
But it doesn't work out for him. And so this is kind of also along this sequence of him making his way to the stadium is when we see that people start mistaking Tetsuo for Akira. They just start calling him Akira.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
One thing I think we forgot to mention while we were talking about it
Okay.
was the Colonel. So there's two stories interwoven. Well, there's multiple stories, but the Colonel's story is while he's trying to basically hold these children and harness them and keep them from, blowing up the entire city with their powers, he's also has an internal struggle with the government because they're having huge economic issues from the previous prime minister. So there's this definite power struggle within the government.
Yeah,
And
they're running out of money.
they're running out of money. They can't afford anything. The city is out of control. And before Tetsuo leaves, when he leaves, he's getting ready to go after him. And he's basically told, you're under arrest. The government is arresting him. So in a military
Right.
coup, he has the people killed. He sends for their arrest because the military is going to listen to him versus politicians because he's not a politician. He's the high-ranking colonel. So
Oh, boy.
there's a big
This is getting
military
depressing.
coup. He's essentially in charge. He is it. And
Yeah.
he's basically said, okay, hey, you know what? They're all gone. Everybody's listening to me. We're going to get Tetsuo.
Yeah, which is extremely scary, right? I mean, because this is how fascism begins, right? Right.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, this guy's like his intentions might be good, but yeah, and like you said, so the other thing with these kids, the psychic quote unquote kids, they've also similarly been dosing them to repress their psychic powers, right? Similar to Tetsuo, because they're afraid these guys are also going to go thermonuclear and detonate and cause these problems.
Well, yeah, they're playing with fucking nuclear bombs. They don't know. How do they know that these kids don't build up an immunity to it, or that the kid who's psychic and can tell the other one they're going to give us pills tomorrow at 12 o'clock? The kid who's floating Louis Anderson uses mind control
Yeah.
powers to say, all right, pretend you gave us the pills, and for all you know, we already ate the medicine. So they're really playing with fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the only way that they can control it to keep it from blowing up even further.
Yep.
Instead of just as fucked up it is, just killing these fucking kids.
Yeah. One of the images I do like with Kyoko when because she is in her bed, which is a glass case, very much like Snow White. Because did you notice all that she's in this bed with a glass case like Snow White when she's asleep, and she's in her nursery or her room, and it's like painted like a fairy tale around her. There's a castle inside, and it's anything to keep them in that, hey, you guys are kids, you are still children, don't do anything crazy,
Yeah, but we see the wear of the time on their faces, right? And that's kind of also alluded to that's a side effect of the medication that they're on. Mm-hmm. But it's precisely that. It's to show just exactly how corrupt they are. Like they should have probably killed these kids or not been experimenting on them to begin with. But we. Instead, what we like to do is have a nuclear stockpile, because then we can assure that we're going to have a mutually assured destruction rather than ever having somebody get the best of us. We'll get the best of ourselves.
Wish we had one of those. What did he say in Doctor Strangelove? I wish we had one of those death rays.
Yeah. Oh, another great one to recommend alongside this for more darkly comedic elements, I guess.
Yeah, I think you can call that a dark comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? George C. Scott is chewing something for the majority of that movie.
That's true. That is very true. Could have been a blue
he's got
chew.
that young girlfriend, so...
I think he's chewing the scenery.
that as well. So now, we make our way to the stadium. And this is... One of the Espers decides that they're going to possess Kei to try to fight Tetsuo.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a very desperate effort. Like, I get what you're going for, but Kei is not going to be able to.
I think it was so much... I think it was when they take her over, they're also trying to find out specifically where he is.
Yeah, it's also that's true. It's also kind of
and
like
she's somebody that he knows
you.
and likes, so he might pay a little bit more attention or be a little bit less guarded around her.
Exactly.
Right. So sleeper agent. That makes sense. And it to that degree it does work, because then they know exactly where Tetsuo is, so that they can Star Wars laser him.
Oh, yeah. With that big fucking laser gun that they have with the military's been using so indiscriminately.
Yeah, good old Ronald Reagan with his Star Wars missile defense system. Finally worked, right? Only it doesn't, because for some reason they just shoot his arm off.
Yeah, all that energy just takes one arm.
Yep. And he gets kind of pissed off about that arm of his getting blown off, like you do, right?
Well, he shouldn't, because he could still have one of those microwavable pizzas.
That's very true. He could have a Stouffer's.
Yep.
You only need one hand to eat it.
Too bad you can't do what you want with the other one.
That's true. That might be the problem. So he's got to get an arm back. And what's the most direct approach? Well, why don't we jump up into orbit and find the satellite, what done shot your arm off, and kill the satellite.
Tell me that was not beautiful. Like, watching that whole fucking scene.
Oh, no, this movie is just beautiful to look at. Even if you just turn the sound off and just watch it, it's fucking jaw-dropping, some of the stuff that they're pulling off with it. Like, when they ride the fucking motorcycles in the beginning and you got the fucking trails and the lights going down the streets, it's really beautiful.
Very Tron, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And when you factor in that all that was hand done, holy shit.
That's what's more incredible about it, yeah.
So impressive. Like I said, it's all this hand-drawn animation it'll never happen again.
Oh, never.
Nobody.
Not on a scale like this. You might see something that's maybe like a 5 or 10 minutes short, maybe 20 minutes at best.
Mm-hmm.
But you're never seeing a 2-hour fucking movie that has that kind of animation and then that kind of multi-level fucking story going with it too.
I was watching a video on YouTube about the level of animation, and they were talking about how, because it's all hand done, even for being hand done, there's such little minor mistakes that they go, usually there's way more mistakes when you do hand drawn stuff, but they said that every now and then you'll see an error, and they're like, and it's so amazing that it's even that low of an error, because it's just usually it's way worse.
You know, and what's funny about it is you would think that usually it's something like this, they would go one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, we don't have the greatest animation style, we can't put too much time in animation, but we got a great story. Or we can do this kind of animation where we're going to fucking hand draw every single goddamn thing. It's going to be down to the smallest detail where you see people's reflections in a restaurant window before a motorcycle comes crashing through it. So we don't have to rely on story because it's going to be jaw-dropping just to look at it. So for them to have both of them together, hats off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I can't imagine what this must look like on 4K. Like, imagine this on IMAX.
Yeah, like on
God,
70
I'd love
millimeter.
to see that. The nearest I came to seeing something like this is in 2001 Metropolis, the anime. I was able to see that in the theaters, but that was only like a $14 million budget. Still wonderful, like it was still beautiful, but nothing compared to Akira's animation. Like, oh man, I'd love to see that in a theater. You're absolutely right.
We saw Princess Mononoke?
Mononoke?
Mononoke. Yes, we saw that in the theater 2 years ago. 35 millimeter print, absolutely gorgeous, and oh man, it doesn't compare to this, but holy shit, that was fascinating. And it wasn't, like you guys were saying, it's not like going and seeing an animated Disney film. It's absolutely beautiful. There's no words for it.
Yeah, that's one of the troubles I had with doing a podcast about this. Is it's like so much of this is visual styling that it's very hard to put to words. Definitely go see this. I mean, you have to see it. So it's like I said, it's on Hulu. You can see it on Tubi or whatever. But if you can find a 4K to purchase of it, and you have a 4K TV, like I'm definitely going to be doing that myself.
Yeah, there's no excuse. Like, do it.
Is there a 4K DVD of this?
I believe there is a 4K version of it.
I mean, if there's ever a movie that you want to see on 4K, this would be it.
This and Mad Max Fury Road. So.
Oh yeah, I have that on 4K.
Yeah, he jumps into space. He kills the fucking satellite, and drops to the ground, back to Earth. And he just like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and form a new arm out of the bits of the rubble of the stadium, as well as the bits of the satellite that fell to Earth.
Eddie, there is a 4K.
I'm looking at it right now. $37.99.
It drops tomorrow. Literally, the 4K drops tomorrow.
Oh shit! Talk about prescient. Okay,
that's right. Pre-order guarantee. Holy shit!
God damn! Wow. Too bad this is going to be coming out in January, but it's already out, guys. Go out and purchase it.
Go buy it right now. Like,
if it hasn't been sold out, because
I'm pre-ordering it right now. Hold on, we're all going to go pre-order it real quick.
Hold on, I'm going to go see if there's a 4K of heavy metal. I'm going to get that one too.
They can't be 4K heavy metal.
You
already have it.
I have it on. Actually, I have it on Blu-ray, but I don't have it on 4K if there is one. Oh, I guess there isn't, and there's a huge push for it to be on 4K.
Blu-ray is as close as you're going to get.
But I'm not going to... Yeah, $10 for the Blu-ray for heavy metal, but I'm not going to go spend...
That's a fucking steal.
Yeah, and $50 for the soundtrack.
And it says arrive before Christmas. Bullshit.
From Best Buy?
Yeah, best of luck to that.
Yeah, especially since this is January.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll
Good
get
luck
it by
for
Christmas.
Yep, pre-orders in. I'll be getting it in 2 days. Okay, so back to the back to doing a podcast, everybody. God, that's how good this fucking movie is. So, yeah, like I said, he comes down to Earth and he forms his hand. And this, I think, to me, the symbolism is not lost, which is now it's the perversion of the technology to the man. This is the body horror you're talking about.
Yes. He's just taken over.
Yep, we're in oh shit mode. And so, like, I missed it talking about it a moment ago, but he made it to the stadium. He opened up the tomb of Akira, and all that was in there were jars of body parts in cryo sleep. So there was no Akira.
Yep.
Just parts.
And he's shocked. He's looking at it like, what am I supposed to do with this? What is this?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? I was supposed to come and meet this dude, and he was going to tell me all about my headaches.
Oh yeah,
How am I
because
gonna
throughout
get
the
rid
whole
of-
movie, Akira's been like beckoning him.
Yep. So he comes to Earth, back to Earth from space. He becomes the new Deus Ex Machina, man, machine, God, all in one. Ascends the stairs up to the throne. They're not very discreet with that. There's a stone throne that's got all of Akira's jarred body parts next to it. And just this scene of Tetsuo sitting down on the throne as his mechanical arm grabs the armrest of it, and you just see the vein slash wires start melding into the concrete of this of the throne, and then expanding into the stadium.
Just absorbing
Fucking
into everything.
stunning.
It's taking over everything.
He has his fingers into everything. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit. So now Jarhead's showing up because he's pissed off. You know, he's trying to stop Tetsuo, but because that's what you're going to do. But we're having a little conversation with Canada, saying, "Hey, you know, we gotta knock it off, buddy. You sure you're okay, man? We're here to keep an eye on you.
You don't look good.
Don't look good at all." And he's like, "No, I'm fine." But then, and it's great because he's got the red cape on him, and you see the bulging under the red cape where his arm is, and you're like, I don't know. I don't think he's as good as he says he is. I'm starting to get a little suspicious here.
Yeah, he might
kinda-
not be telling the truth.
Kind of winces, and he's kind of pained. And then old Jarhead guy shoots him. And I'm like, shit. Now we got a problem.
They were so close to talking him down. So close.
So close to just rationalizing with poor Tetsuo, but no, he gets shot, and I'm like, this isn't gonna go well. Well, turns out it doesn't go well. Because what happens to Tetsuo?
He begins to just grow in a rage, and he just becomes this bulbous creature. Did you see when he was expanding? Did you see his testicles drop? He had these big bulging balls when he's enveloping
No, I did not
everybody.
notice that, Charlie.
I saw that and I went, "Those are his balls." And I had to go back and I
Yeah.
went, "Yep, those are balls."
And that's why you want it in 4K.
Yep. If there was a way that you could have intravenously fed this man Blue Chew, this is exactly what would happen. Because he swells and
Yep.
throbs, and you see the mix of the organic and the technology.
envelop
of him.
everything.
Oh, yeah, just swell. And it's oozing and sticky and stretchy. And it just reaches out and it's touching things, and you see these representations of limbs and appendages.
Yeah, toes that have hands on the end of them.
Yeah, it's truly like a cross between body horror and cosmic horror at this point.
Oh yeah.
And all we can do is sit back and say, fuck,
Oh,
this isn't good.
and when you see the Colonel and he's wrapped up in it, and in the like the what is it? It's like the wall of flesh and muscle and fat and tissue is like pressing up on his face, and he's just, there's nothing you can do. You just gotta.
Yeah.
Suffocate, huh?
This
It's
is it.
just crushing him and maybe absorbing him. We don't know.
I think it looks like crushing, because later on we see the girl gets crushed, right?
Yeah. She gets in there. She's crushed into it. And
She pops.
yeah, not good. Not how you want to go out, Tim.
No,
If you could
that's not
choose
how
a
you
way to
wanna pop.
die, that's not high on my fucking list. And just
no,
then,
no, I actually, that's how I want to die.
oh yeah.
It's never going to happen, so I'll live a nice long life.
Well, look, man. If I ever I used to ride a motorcycle. So if my wife will allow me to have another motorcycle, and I
I know
accidentally
she will
almost,
not, because then you're going to need a mustache to go along with that motorcycle.
that's true. So you know what I've been doing with this mustache gambit that I'm running is every time she does some fucked up, unforgivable shit, or she's just like, I'm like, look, you're wearing pajamas and you're eating nacho cheese with celery and hovering over the nacho cheese. I'm putting this on the pile. This goes on the pile of reasons why I get to have a fucking mustache, right?
How many
So
reasons
one
do
day-
you need before the scales tip?
I'm not going to say that.
So she might
it's
be
like-
like one mistake away.
Yep, it's like pornography, Tim. I'll know it when I see it.
I don't know, because she could be pushing that, oh, he's not going to do it. He's not. What you should do is go longer in between your shaving. Like if you shave
Yeah,
every day,
see?
So-
maybe do like every other day.
That's right.
I had
And it's
this-
like, what are you talking about?
I had this exact conversation with her. I said, I'm going to just start gaslighting you. I'm just going to start not shaving just the mustache area every other day. And then it'll be every third day, then every other day. Then it'll just slowly keep growing and growing and growing. And eventually you'll just wake up and I'll have a mustache that you've never noticed.
And you can have pictures. And like, look, see? I've had this for like the last 6 months.
Where have you
Yeah,
been?
what are you talking about?
God damn. You tell me I don't pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah. Shh, look at you. Didn't even notice that. So Flesh Blob, he's having a wonderful day. And the Espers show up, the 3 green kids. And they start praying to the bits of Akira. And I'm like, that's a little weird, but okay. But maybe they're praying to it. Maybe they're trying to focus their psychic energy.
I'm
going
going to give it to they're trying to focus all their abilities together to get Akira to wake up.
Yeah. And they do, because Akira's vials, jars, whatever, fall over and shatter, and then, Dad's home.
It's gonna get worse.
Akira forms, and you're like, oh, good, he's just going to fix everything, and he's going to make everything right, guys?
No.
That's the way it should be, right?
No.
Come
no.
on, Tim. This is Japanese anime. That's not
It's
what
the
happens.
name of the movie. We've been waiting
Yeah.
for this dude to show up the whole movie, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's not going to be good. I'm sitting here watching going,
fucking
oh.
Scatman Crothered.
No, it's wait until your father gets home. That wasn't a good saying, man. Like, the belt was coming out. Here's the paddle. Uh-oh.
Yeah. And Akira forms, and we see Akira, and he's like a little kind of boyish, transparent dude that forms. And we just see a light. And that light just kind of becomes a little dome over him. And that little light dome over him just starts expanding. And I'm like, oof. Okay, knowing what this shit is an allegory for, most of this movie, this is not good.
They're going to have a lot more rebuilding to do.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe get in that light and die. Maybe that's the best option at this point.
Well, it kind of restarts the whole thing with having to rebuild again, right? And giving the younger generation, something to do instead of riding around on a motorcycle.
Yeah, true.
I'd be sitting there trying to get my my refund for my hotel room for the Olympics the next year. That ain't going to happen.
Yeah. I don't think these Olympics are going to go down. You're calling it up Travelocity. So, no, we see his light starts expanding, and as it does, Tetsuo's flesh globiness starts shrinking back and retracting. And they're like, oh, boy, this isn't good. And the Espers are like, yeah, we probably should get Canada out because he didn't do anything wrong, really. Canada's in the flesh globe.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta save him.
Yeah. Don't they say he's innocent? He's innocent.
He is an
Yeah, they
innocent.
Yeah.
And the first one's like, I'm going to try to go in there and save him. And the other two are like, yeah, if you go in there, you're not coming out, though, so you're probably fucked.
Yeah. We'll go with
But
you.
he's not exactly innocent, isn't he? He's fucking leader of a gang who's going around bashing other people's fucking heads, sending them off of fucking motorcycles at 100 miles an hour.
But did he kill a couple 100,000 people by Invoking the wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what you know. What they say is you kill like 1 or 2 people. It's a big story.
I mean,
kill a million. It's just. A statistic.
I mean, Tim, Hitler's a bad guy, but was his dog a bad dog?
Oof, good question.
That's
Hounds
a movie
of
right
Hitler.
there.
How bad were they?
Exactly.
Yeah. Hitler had a professional chef too. Did you know that?
Hitler had a professional chef.
Yeah. That was just like hanging out with him.
Well, didn't he need a special diet because he used to fucking fart all the time?
Yeah, he was.
He was a
very
vegetarian.
gassy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So imagine if you're Hitler's chef, right? You're Hitler's personal chef. Like, you probably didn't kill anybody, but you did feed him.
You could have killed somebody.
You could have killed him, yeah. But no, these 3 espers, they decide they're gonna make a righteous self-sacrifice, which it's like, yeah, they probably should have done that to begin with.
A long time ago.
Cool. So they all use their Captain Planet powers to jump in there to go rescue old Canada. And Akira, this ending sequence, man, there's a lot going on here.
Oh, there is.
So we see the flashback to the beginning of it, which is Akira was, of course, one of these espers. He was one of these children that they were experimenting on that went thermonuclear. Yada yada yada. But the idea was the scientists then they're like, well, let's he clearly started World War III. He's very powerful. Let's just go ahead and dissect him, try to figure out how he ticks. Well, okay. Well, let's we got the parts left over. Fuck it. Let's just freeze them. We might need them later. And it kind of reminded me of the whole like smallpox might still be.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
In lock and key, frozen somewhere.
You always want to be able to go back and look at it.
Yeah, well, or you always want to be able to go back.
That if that shit gets out, everybody in the whole fucking planet's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or you want to keep a little fistful of it just in case we ever get too pissed at Russia.
Well, and didn't the colonel say that they weren't ever really able to get a lot of information out of him, and that's why they kept it, was so later they could go back and maybe see, oh, hey, this is what our technology couldn't find.
Yeah, it's like, you know, 20 years ago they didn't know about DNA, so they kept the shit, and now they got DNA, and now you can figure out shit out.
Now you can figure out that OJ killed
that was
2 people.
Yeah, and that was kind of the initial idea for Tetsuo, is that he might be the solution to preventing these espers from going thermonuclear, because while he had similar power levels to Akira, they were contrasting. But so anyhow, the espers jump in to the super massive Tetsuo Akira explosion party that's going on, get Canada out, and Akira decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go ahead and create a new universe. And I'm going to take Tetsuo and the espers with me. And then we get the Big Bang. And the biblical I am Tetsuo line kind of uttered. And a new universe is initiated. For them, maybe. Because Neo Tokyo is extra fucked.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Canada and K, they're cool. But holy shit, does it look worse for the wear now? Everything's flooded, everything's busted.
And it wasn't in that good a shape anyway. And
no.
To say it's even worse now is fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some shit being in bad condition, and then they just blew it up again. God damn it! Now what are we gonna do?
It's time to just
walk get a broom.
Back to the way it was.
At what point do you have to sit there and say, hey, we've dumped enough money into it? It's time to just walk away.
Yeah, I think you have nowhere to go but up from here. And that's how we end the movie Akira, guys. So Tim, what are your thoughts? I'll let you go out on it.
I think it's definitely a movie that you probably have to see more than once to be able to fully appreciate everything. But like I said, just even if you didn't listen to it with sound, just watching the movie is just an experience. And it kind of like is Mad Max, where it's one of those things where it's just fun to watch and not really pay too much attention to. But then if you want to sit down and pay attention and put the work into it, there's a lot of different things going on a lot of different levels. So
Well
I'm
put.
glad that you recommended this for us to watch, because this is something that was always kind of like on my list to watch, but then it was always like something that kept getting pushed back on my list. So hats off, Charlie.
Well, thank you. I feel the same way about it. It was always on my list, but it just kept getting pushed back, and it was a perfect time to watch it.
Yeah. So Charlie, what you have anything you want to add?
I agree with Tim that yeah, you can put it on in the background. In fact, that's actually what I did today. Is I had it on the background for a little bit because I'd already seen it enough times to really watch it and get it. But yeah, even in the background, you can pick up certain things, or you'll hear certain things that you just forgot. But then when you do want to put in the time and really watch it, there's just so many layers to it that just it's one that you're gonna watch even 5 and 6 times later, and you'll still catch something different, or you'll see something new that just adds to that layer.
Yeah, totally agree. And it's one of them I didn't really know how to approach, because like I said, I saw it goddamn 15, 16 years ago, and just rewatched it again recently, and it's so difficult to really fully cover. Because there's just so much going on. It's something I'm probably going to revisit. I think I hit the major notes of it that I really wanted to get into, kind of what some of the greater storytelling is on it. But there's so many like smaller, just personal stories that go on under the hood of this movie that we didn't cover.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully we covered enough of it that if somebody hasn't seen it like we did, that it'll make them curious enough to want to go out and watch it, and they won't have everything spoiled for them. There'll be some surprises.
And that was the thing
Exactly.
too. Is when we wanted to say, hey, let's cover the main themes on it. It was one of those things where I felt I didn't want to do it a disservice, because, like you said, there are so many stories in it, and it's so well interwoven that you can hit on the main points, but you have to tread lightly, because you could do the movie a complete disservice by saying, oh, A, B, C, D. Meanwhile, you're forgetting, Z, Y, X, W, V.
Yeah, I think knowing the context that the film should be taken into, and then knowing kind of, so I'm not a big fan of anime in general. I am a huge fan, though, of the work of the manga artist Junji Ito, and he's got a series that's called Gyo, Gyo, that you should probably check out if you haven't.
Okay.
That's sort of reminiscent of this. It's basically it covers like a lot of fiction, specifically like manga and anime. There's a lot of allegories and a lot of reference to World War II. But this is about Japan and some of the kind of the war crimes that they had committed back during World War II, coming back and attacking them.
Fascinating.
And in the form of
what is that, Unit 731?
a little bit. It doesn't really directly get into that. Basically, the idea is they're doing experimentation with robotics and on humans and stuff, and they kind of dump it into the ocean, and then it takes over
The world's
the
toilet bowl.
sea. Yeah, and then it takes over the sea life, and then the sea life starts robotically coming and marching on to Japan and killing everyone and everything.
In manga, you don't eat
In
seafood.
manga.
Seafood eats you.
Yeah, and it fucking stinks too. So it's definitely worth checking out.
Okay.
But I think so. I guess that's getting ahead of my recommendations. So yeah, I really just more wanted to kind of cover the broader themes of Akira. Go out and watch it, like we were talking about. I just fucking pre-ordered the 4K of it that's going to be here in 2 days, for Christ's sake, and I just
You
finished
hope
watching
it's
it.
here in 2 days.
Hey, it'll get
God,
here
I hope.
before Tim's Xbox does. So.
God damn it, it probably will.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be listening to this before Tim has his Xbox too, by the way.
Oh, Jesus, no, please.
Tim will have a PlayStation before he gets his Xbox.
No, because I think they said that if they don't, that I shouldn't worry. That if the order isn't to be fulfilled before January 3rd, they'll cancel it and just refund my credit card.
Oh, goody. So you just won't get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all this time I'll be like, nah, I don't need to go to Walmart. No, I don't need to go to Amazon. No, I don't need to go to GameStop.
I don't like to suggest it, but you should just go find one at Walmart or GameStop or Times Square, buy it, and then cancel it. That way you have it. You've got it. Maybe you paid a little bit more, maybe, but you have your Xbox.
Well, I think the problem is that you can't buy these in stores. Almost because of Corona, almost everything's online. That's why the scalpers and the bots have been going crazy buying these things up.
True.
My brother went and got one at a Walmart, and he flipped it because he doesn't really want any of the games out right now. But he said that when he went to Walmart, he asked about a PlayStation, and the lady got really mad because the store opened, I guess, at like 7 o'clock. And it was like 9 o'clock. And he goes, yeah, she got really mad. And she said, we only got 3 of those at midnight. And at 7 a.m., there was 65 people in line waiting for it. And it was like, God damn.
Oh, yeah, no, they did the same thing for like all the GameStops here, in at least in New York. They announced that they were going to go on sale in the physical stores, but they were only going to have like 2 Xboxes and 3 PlayStations. And there were fucking lines of people, 30, 40 people deep. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you think? You think all those people's credit cards are going to decline and you're going to be able to get in and scoop one up?
You should get Death Force back together and just wait in the wings. Mm-hmm. You guys can hit GameStop.
All of a sudden, there's a gang going around robbing people of their Xboxes.
When you get your Xbox, Tim, and you play Cyberpunk, they actually have an Akira motorcycle in Cyberpunk.
Oh, nice.
I found that out the other day, and it's actually it's what is it here?
Now, does it work?
It does. Well, we'll find out. Just don't get the gears below 5,000, and you'll be okay.
Oh, because if you get the gears below 5,000, the dildos start popping out of the tires, right?
Out of the seat, if you're lucky.
Oh, well, that's if you're lucky.
But yeah, so the motorcycle, if you look it up later, it definitely has more than a passing resemblance. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've talked about my couple of recommendations here. Gio, obviously, and then, of course, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Now it's slipping my brain, though. Tim.
Watchmen.
Yes, The Watchmen. If you want to see kind of the English / American, quote unquote, because they did a movie in America. That take, or they did a TV show on Watchmen that I never watched, but I probably should.
It is. I don't think it has I think it has about like maybe 10% to do with that comic book, with just using some of the basic characters. But it is a brilliant show.
And Don Johnson is in it. So
yes, he is.
Now I gotta watch it.
A bit of a dubious Southerner there.
Well, he is a Southerner. Well, he's just playing himself.
And he is dubious. Remember, Melanie Griffin was like fucking 14 years old.
You know what? We all have a past, Tim.
Yeah, some of us are in Death Force. Some of us are hooking up with Melanie Griffith. What are you gonna do?
I wonder who got the better of the deal.
And you know what? If you were young Don Johnson with Melanie Griffith, you didn't need Blue Chew like you do if you're Mr. Antonio Banderas now.
I bet you he needs it now.
No, maybe. So do you guys have any other recommendations, or do you want to just rest on the ones we've talked about already? Plus, of course, watch Akira.
Watch Akira. Watch 70s Japanese films, like crime films. It'll give you a really good basis in where they were like emotionally and mentally, where they were at that time in the 70s and 80s. We were watching a couple, what was it? Female Prisoner Scorpion. We were watching those movies.
Oh yeah, holy shit.
And if you want to do like Japanese horror, do one of those films. Like, it is just it's not body horror, but man, you see people just killed in fascinating ways, bodies just mutilated, men emasculated in just amazing ways. Like, she killed this male guard who raped her to like basically send a message to the other prisoners, and after she killed him, she shoves like this tree branch up his dick and just leaves him laying out in the middle of nowhere. And it's like, holy shit, this is a dark fucking film. And watching it, it's just like watching it's like watching a real life manga come to life. And then you see this, and it's like, oh my god, I can see all these themes and all these images. It's beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to get into some of those. Tim, you got anything?
Well, I definitely recommend this movie, and I will back up Charlie. I think you should definitely check out some of the Japanese gangster movies. And I think what's interesting with Japanese movies back then is it's all... I mean, all our war movies are told from our point, of course, and we won the war. Mm-hmm. So it's always interesting to see what their take on it is, where, you know, they lost the war and how they had to rebuild and everything like that. So definitely I would check out a lot of old Japanese movies from the 70s, 60s, and 70s.
All right. So I know this is going to be an interesting learning experience for me because I haven't barely seen Japanese horror stuff. The only one I'm going to be bringing into it this month is Uzumaki, and that's just because I love Junji Ito, of course.
Okay.
So, Tim, you and I get to watch a horror movie about spirals.
Wait, like spirals? Like spirograph?
Spirals. Uzumaki. That's what it means, is a spiral. It's about a town or a society that becomes obsessed with spirals.
Huh.
So is this before 7 or before the number 23 or after the number 23?
Before. Well before.
Okay, so Jim Carrey, you hack.
Jim Carrey, you hack.
Huh.
So I think that about does it for this episode of the Bloody Bits Horror Show. Guys, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Charlie, do
Great
you have
having
anything
you,
to
Charlie.
promote?
I don't have anything to promote. I don't have any podcasts. I'm a fan of...
What about your Instagram page with that beautiful van work that you're doing?
Your van work.
My van work. I got a van that I'm working on, but my Instagram, it's private. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm a private
Well,
guy.
people can send you invites, and if you want, then you can accept it.
Yeah, you guys
It'll
can
be more
find me.
exclusive, won't it?
Yeah, there you go. If you guys want to find me, I'm Sir Charles of Sacto, all one word on Instagram. Come on over. I'm private, but I just, like I said,
That means he's not accepting any invites, and I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But I don't do podcasts. I'm a fan of all the Binverse podcasts that are out there. And
You done David's show, Mustachio Podcastio, and that was pretty good.
I actually, but when this podcast comes out, I will, let's see here. I'll be doing another segment on Daniels. We're doing an episode of Miami Vice. And then we're going to be doing a movie for like February. And then in January also, Candace and I will be doing an episode on the Grind Bin.
I think I'm on that show too.
Oh, boy.
Let me just say this. Pew, pew, pew.
No, we're going to be on a separate episode. I can't tell you the movie just yet. But by the time this episode comes out in January, we will have already recorded it. So it'll probably be out like in February time. So... But yeah, that's it.
Just listen to all 3 shows all the time so you never miss it.
Don't ever not listen to anything else.
Yeah, it's the best thing going in podcasts.
Yes,
I've
let's do
listened
the
to a lot
Fox
of them.
News thing. This is the only 3 podcasts you should listen to if you want to hear real podcasting. All the other podcasts are fake podcast.
Yeah.
I can't.
A lot of the times, they haven't even watched the fucking movies.
Yeah, and they're talking
they just
about
go on Wikipedia.
They're just on Wikipedia reading about it. I can't wait until we have a Grind Bin podcast get together, like a convention, where it's just 15 of us in a room, and there's like 7 podcasts between everybody. It'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun.
There'll be 15 in the room. There'll be 17 podcasts.
We're gonna scream Baby Ghost.
Everybody's just drunk, screaming at each other. Yeah, that'll be wonderful.
Baby Ghost is good.
God. All right, guys, so this is it for me, Eddie the Axe, Tim, and, of course, Charlie, and this is how I end it.